Welcome to another hour. Another hour.
Welcome to the Nappy Hour, guys, a place where you tell me all about your fucked up lives and I tell everyone, just like real friends. So open your ears and let me fill them full of shit. Advice. Now, as always, guys, I am not a trained professional. If there's anything that is seriously worrying you, then call your head teacher, child services. Don't bring it over here, okay? We're keeping it light. Actually, we're not keeping it light today. You guys have brought me some serious issues that I'm not necessarily qualified to talk about. But as always, guys, we're friends over here, okay? It's just you and me in my living room talking about our shit lives. I actually have realised that having this podcast is keeping me accountable, like me dishing out advice. Often I'm not very good at taking my own advice, but since I'm dishing out advice all day, now I feel more inclined to sort of take my own advice. You know, our mum friend a few weeks ago that was missing parts of her old relationship and her old life, being young, wild and free. I kind of realised that I really resonated with that. Like I could have written that myself. I mean, minus kissing a French boy in a nightclub. Sounds kind of fun, to be honest. Joking, husband, I'm not going to do that. But, you know, I miss being young, wild and free. We were on holiday with our friends recently. We went to Norfolk for a long weekend with a big group of friends. And I got myself feeling a little bit sad during that weekend because we were the only ones that weekend that had friends. We were the only ones that weekend that had any kids, right? And I kind of felt weighed down by parenting. You know, often if me and Zach are in a room, we are like magnetic, like all over each other, laughing, giggling, all over each other to the point where it's like a bit annoying. And we weren't like that this time. And it really showed because, you know, these changes in your relationship, they happen so slowly and they're very small and you don't really notice them happening. But then I was around a group of, you know, young couples that aren't weighed down by parenting yet. And suddenly I thought, oh, what's happened to us? Where did that fun, loving, easy going couple go? You know, like my mates were off shagging in the forest. My other friends were, you know, dancing, giggling and cuddling all the time. And me and Zach were kind of just like on opposite sides of the room. We were spinning our own plates, right? Zach was doing his thing. I was doing my thing. We were both sort of like parenting in between us. Woody was running in between us, like, and we were just sort of managing our own little plates, spinning them, but on the opposite side of the room. And, you know, I got myself feeling jealous of my friends because it just, you know, I remember those days where I didn't have to worry about anything but me and Zach. Those days were, they were nice. They were nice. Not gonna lie, guys. They were pretty easy and sweet. And I miss being young, wild and free. I miss not being exhausted from, you know, parenting and being able to wake up in the morning and just like focus all my energy on Zach and me. I miss not worrying about, you know, has a little person eaten enough today, or are they having too much sugar, or should I go and get little boy dressed? Like, I just miss, I don't know, not having anything to worry about but myself. I miss having zero resentment towards my partner. I miss being in that stage where I didn't necessarily have to rely on Zach for anything. I didn't have to rely on Zach to do anything for me or look after me because I wasn't emptying my cup looking after someone else. Then I didn't need someone else to fill up my cup. Do you know what I mean? And now we have to put this small person in front of each other. We both have to do that. And I do think mums actually do this more than dads. And I don't want to generalize or shit on dads here, but I would like to know, you know, if this isn't the case in your relationship, then let me know. But I would say the majority of the time, the mum is doing the most of like the mental load of raising the kids. So, you know, when you sit down at a table and it's a big group of us, it's the mum that's loading up the plate for the kid before she loads up her own. It's the mum who's deciding what the kid's going to eat for breakfast. It's the mum that's packing the bag for the holiday. It's the mum that's getting the baby dressed for the day. You know, I would say it's quite rare for the dad unprompted to get the baby dressed. You know, but no one needs to prompt the mum to get the baby dressed and fed. It's like the mental load of motherhood that doesn't sound big. Like if you're outside of that situation, that on its own doesn't sound big. Like it's almost like not even worth saying. So we just get on with it. But that slowly compounds into resentment and just feeling weighed down by parenting. Yeah, I really felt that heavy weight of motherhood on me that weekend. Even though my beautiful friends were around, they were playing with Woody, kept on taking him away off my hands, I still felt that weight. And me and Zach spoke about it. We had a conversation on the last night where I just said, like, I feel like something's missing for me. Like, so I'm just not able to relax. I'm not able to be my full, happy, fun, free self because I'm just weighed down. Towards the end of the conversation, I had this realization that, yeah, I might be slightly jealous of my friends for how they are with their couples right now. Would I go back to that stage with Zach? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't go back because what we have now, it is deeper. It is like the next stage along from that young, wild and free stage. It's just about being able to tap into it still and bring in those aspects of being young, wild and free into your parenting relationship. So yes, I miss it, but I wouldn't go back to it. I need to find ways of feeling not so weighed down by being a mother and a wife. I found myself being like a cliche wife, you know, when like the dad does something goofy or silly and the wife and the mum just sort of rolls her eyes. Like I felt myself taking on that role that weekend and I fucking hated it. You know, did you guys grow up with that dynamic with your parents? The dad being fun and wacky and then the mum just not being able to sort of relax or have any fun. She just sort of sits on the side, doesn't really join in. I can see myself molding into that and yeah, I don't like it. I feel like I count myself very, very lucky. You know, I speak to a lot of mums about their partners. And so I know for a fact that I have like a top tier husband and baby daddy. And still, this whole parenting thing takes its toll. Tesco, are you okay, babe? You're coming in and out that door like no tomorrow. Do you want to just relax? You know, and still this parenting thing takes its toll on our relationship. And so it's just constant, you have to have really good communication and be constantly reevaluating what's working for you, what's not, how can we work together to change that situation and grow together and be happier parents and partners. On that same note, we had a conversation the other night when I turned to him and I said, you know, is anything missing for you right now in this relationship? And he was like, actually, yeah. And he almost felt guilty for saying it because he knows I do a lot for him. I'm always bringing him coffees and food and stuff in the day. He almost didn't want to say it, but he said, you know, I haven't had a surprise in a while. And I don't mean like an expensive surprise, but just like a little treat. You know, every time you'd go into town, you'd maybe pick me up a little something or you'd see something online that I'd like and you'd buy it for me. And like, just, I haven't had a little surprise or even just like me saying to Zach, okay, babes, these are the plans today. We're going to do this fun thing. And he's right. I almost got my back up a little bit. A part of me wanted to be like, excuse me. Yeah, I don't buy you treats anymore, but I do this and I do this and I do this and I'm busy raising your son and blah, 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 blah. There was like a little part of me that wanted to do that. But in fairness, he is right. Like, when was the last time I just bought him something just because, or I went to the shop and I got him his favorite treats just because? Like, he is right. Those little things, they make you feel special and they make you feel loved. And so for the next few weeks, I'm really going to try to take that on board. Him bringing that issue to the table does not discount his appreciation for me doing other things for him. Anyway, that's enough of me talking about my shitty life. We're going to get straight on to you guys. Like I said, we have a couple big ones to get through, okay? We're talking about it all, okay, guys? So we're going to get stuck right in. This mummy says, I'm due back at work and we know childcare is going to be mega expensive. My mum knows how much it's going to cost us, basically a mortgage payment. We don't really have support from anyone. My mum has started a new part-time job and has Fridays off. She hasn't offered to care for the baby on that day, but it would be a great help if she did. I daren't ask her because I know it's a big ask, but at the same time, I thought she would have offered at least to help support us. Why would you not want to look after your gorgeous grandchild and help your daughter? I did kind of hint today, but there was no offer. P.S. I'm a teacher, so I know once I go back to work, it will be manic. I'm not sure when my mum will get to see the baby as I always have to travel to her. Just in terms of background information, I have had a pretty rough time growing up and me and my brother ended up in care because my mum was on heroin and made a lot of bad life choices and neglected us a lot. She turned it around when I was at college. Unfortunately, my brother committed suicide a few years ago and there's only me and my mum. She only works part-time, bless her, and she still gets some benefits, but I've never depended on her for anything growing up and sorted my own shit out and worked my way out of poverty. I've never asked her for anything because I've always had to be the mum. I don't want to sound like I'm bad-mouthing her because I want to trust her to look after my little girl despite her mental health and mistakes. I want to help her still grieve the loss of my brother, which I think the baby has helped. Any advice? Firstly, let's just acknowledge how strong you are for navigating that situation on your own and getting yourself and your child to the point where you are. This issue is kind of throwing it back to the week where we spoke about parents not being able to give you what you needed, being the parents that you needed them to be. Just because we are mums now and we have our own children, we still need to be mothered ourselves. And that's something that I've realized. Like, no, I still need my mum to care for me and to be that solid rock for me. And when you don't have that because they don't want to or they're not able to, that's really hard. It's funny being a grandparent because, you know, there's lots of different types of grandparents. There's the grandparents that have, you know, worked really hard and they spent a lot of time parenting, and then they become grandparents and then they retire and they think, I don't really want to commit to then raising another child. Like, I've got to that stage in my life now where I just want to chill. I don't want commitments. I just want to float around and do my thing, maybe travel a little bit, join some groups, have hobbies, and just enjoy my life. Although I don't know if that's necessarily the case here, because like you said, she never really parented you. So I can almost appreciate that if I was you, I'd think, come on, this is like a second chance for you to give a little person the care and the love that they need, and to also to mother me. That's what I need right now. Was she parented properly when she was young? Was she given the support with her babies? Maybe she doesn't necessarily know what's expected of her because she was never shown that when she was your age. And so she doesn't either know how great it would be or that she even should do it. But you have every right to want to be supported by your mum. You know, sometimes people don't offer their support because they don't know how much the support is needed. Stating every Friday might be a bit overwhelming for her. As someone that has struggled with my mental health, when I'm in a down phase, the thought of committing to something long term is just scary. But then when I'm there in the moment, I know I'm going to enjoy it. I know it's good for me. So why don't you ask for a little trial period? Don't call it a trial period, but just ask her, Mum, for the next 3 weeks, are you able to help me out with childcare on the Fridays? And she'll be like, oh yeah, 3 weeks, I can do that. I promise you, by the end of that third week, well, she might not. She might either get to the end of that third week and think, thank fuck, that's over. Or she might think, you know what? I actually really enjoyed that. And she'll want to carry it on. It's okay to ask for help. The worst thing that she's going to say is no. At least then you have your answer. But right now, it's like you don't really have an answer, but you're feeling rejected. You're thinking, you know, why doesn't she want to hang out with my child? Does she not love me? It's probably like poking at some like child wounds that you have right now. You know, some people lack that awareness of hints and expectations. She might just be totally unaware. But now we're sat here kind of assuming the worst of her, and it's kind of confirming our mother wounds. Don't you wish there was like an adoption agency, but for mums? So, you know, if your mum isn't capable of giving you the support that you need when you become a mum, you can go on this agency and just get adopted by a granny. And they can, you know, these grannies maybe aren't grannies yet, but they have all this granny energy that they want to give you. And they can just give you all their granny vibes. They can look after your kid. They can come round, cook you food. They can love on you. They can run you a bubble bath. It's like Mrs. Doubtfire, but instead of being a man dressed as a granny, it is just a granny. Recently made a new mum friend at the park and we've been getting along great. However, every time we hang out, she keeps forgetting her wallet and I end up paying for everything from coffee to playdate snacks. I don't mind helping out occasionally, but it's becoming a habit and I'm not exactly good for it half the time either, if I'm honest. How can I address this without making things awkward or ruining our friendship? This might sound lame, but I don't have loads of mum friends, so ditching her really isn't an option. She's also great company and we genuinely really get on, and so do our kids. So I want to get past this and keep being mates with her. I just can't bankroll our hangouts anymore. Suggestions welcome. Okay, firstly, I'm calling bullshit on forgetting your wallet. Excuse me, honey, have you heard of Apple Pay? Have you got your phone on you, babe? Yeah, okay, cool. That little button on the side, just double click it and hold it against that fucking card machine. I would just flat out stop getting my card out, even for myself. If my friend is constantly expecting me to pay, suddenly I don't want a coffee anymore. Oh, do you want to we're walking past the cafe? Oh, should we go grab a coffee? No, actually, I brought my own, you little cow. Side note, it's not at all lame that you want to hold on to this mum friend, because finding a good mum friend is like, honestly, finding a pair of pants that hasn't got period stains all over it, okay? It's fucking hard. So I don't blame you for wanting to keep this relationship sweet. It's not lame at all. I get it. You know, when she suggests going in for a cafe, just flat out say, before you even walk in, say, I actually don't have my wallet on me today. And then just wait and see if she suggests paying. Or just say, oh yeah, sure, you go ahead. I don't have my wallet, so I'll just wait out here with the buggies. And then you're not even there for that whole awkward, like, oh, I haven't got my wallet. Can you pay? Can you pay? No. Because I'm outside. You know, fill that bottom of the buggy full of snacks and a keep cup with a coffee in. So there is no excuse for you to actually get your wallet out or even go into a shop to buy it. I do wonder what her money situation's like. I'd be interested to know, because some people are, you know, they are struggling, but some people are good for it and they're just stingy as fuck. You know, if she was actually struggling, and there's been times where I am struggling, I'm not the type of person to go into a cafe and then order a coffee. Like if I'm not good for it, I'm not ordering it. If she's not good for it, why would she even go into a cafe in the first place? Us Brits are so weird about money. Like, why are we so awkward about money? When I don't have any money, I just flat out say, I'm actually skin. Just say it. Just say you're skin. And there's no like, I don't go to a cafe and I'm like, oh, I don't have any money. I don't have my wallet with me. I don't have my wallet. No, I just say, I don't have any money in my bank account. I am flat out broke. Maybe just ask her straight. Ask her straight. How is the cost of living crisis affecting you, hun? I don't find it awkward at all to talk about money. Me and my friends all sort of know each other's money situations. Like, we know who's good for it and who's not. And if she's like, oh yeah, cost of living crisis is killing me, honey. If she's like that, you can just start suggesting other places to hang out. We don't have to hang out at that expensive coffee shop, okay? Gail's can wait. She'll be there in a few months. When I was living in Notting Hill, it was dangerous, man, because I would, you know, do my little circle, and on that circle route, there was a coffee shop called Layla's. And if you know, you know. But every time I go into Layla's, £500. Where's that? Banana bread, a couple of coffees, snack for Woody, 500 quid. Ouch, bro. These London playdates could cost you like £30 a time. You're not going to Poundland for snacks, are you? Let's be real. Something I have learned over the last year is that if I am doing something that is then making me resent another person, that's my fault. I have to stop that, because I am enabling the situation. I am playing my part. You have to take accountability in the part that you are playing in that little role play that you guys have of her, oh, I don't have my wallet. And then you getting your wallet out and then you feeling pissed off about it. Like, you are playing the part there. So you have to take yourself out of that situation, stop playing the part, and then you're going to stop resenting her. Stop getting your card out. It sounds like you suffer with a serious case of the people pleasies. I feel you, babe. I've been on death's door with the people pleasies. But then you realise that the only thing in your way of getting better is you. I recently had an abortion and I'm struggling coming to terms with it. I have 2 children already and I'm happily married. So when I found myself accidentally pregnant very quickly after I had my second baby, I just knew it wasn't right for our family. After lots of difficult conversations with my partner, we decided to go ahead with an abortion. He is against abortion and it made the conversations very difficult as I felt judged for wanting to go ahead with it. We haven't spoken about it since. I haven't really spoken about it to any of my friends, actually. I don't think my husband ever thinks about it, but I'm struggling moving past the whole experience. Obviously, it's a huge thing for my body to go through, and I felt the effects a few months after, as well as the shame and judgment that comes with abortion. Any advice for me or suggestions on how I can heal and move past it? Thank you so much for bringing this topic to us, because I know that so many mums out there are going to relate. I personally do relate. It's very, very normal to feel feelings of shame and judgment after an abortion. You know, it's a very complex situation that you don't really understand until you are in that situation. You don't really understand the depth to it. And then you have the whole thing of, you know, not communicating it to your loved ones. And then that kind of compounds the shame and anxiety and judgment onto you because you're not communicating to anyone. And so you're kind of like living in this weird experience, but totally isolated. I have spoken about my experience with abortion online, but for anyone that isn't aware, I will catch you up very quickly. I have had 3 abortions. 3, I know. Some of you listening are be like, 3? That's using abortion as contraception at that point. Well, 2 of those abortions I was on contraception and the contraception failed. And then the third one was more recently. My first one, I actually got pregnant when I was 15. My next pregnancy, I was 19, so 4 years later. And then the third abortion was this time last year, actually. And I had just had Woody. I was just sort of coming out of that postpartum phase, and then I got pregnant and I thought, I am not ready at all. But society would make me feel like I am ready because I'm married. I've got a wonderful husband. I've got a beautiful toddler. We've got, quote unquote, our shit together. So shouldn't I want this baby right now? Like what is my excuse, basically? You know, society tells us that we should keep popping out kids regardless of what it does to our mental, physical health, our financial health, you know, the state of our family. For anyone that's listening and saying, well, you should be more careful then. You shouldn't get yourself in this situation. You know what, honey? Shit happens. Mistakes happen. Contraception fails. You don't think you're fertile. You think you're in a time in your cycle where you're not fertile and you end up you are fertile. Like, there's so many different variables when it comes to getting pregnant. Often as well, you don't realize how not ready you are for something until you are faced with that thing. And that was exactly the case for me. I didn't really realize how not ready I was to become a mum of two until I was pregnant. Anyway, back to you, mummy. First step to healing is allowing yourself to feel it. Have you done that yet? Have you had like one of those guttural cries? Have you sobbed? Have you journaled? Like, have you really allowed yourself to feel the weight of this situation? Because I can imagine if you're not communicating with your friends or your husband even, you're probably suppressing it and not allowing it to bubble over. And that feels intuitive. That feels right. Like, you know, I don't have the space to communicate it, so I'm just going to push it down. But actually what that's going to do is make it worse. I think you might need a physical release. Whenever I'm in like a bad state, whenever I'm in a sort of depressive stage or I need a physical release, I'll go to like a really powerful yoga class or a sound bath or a boxing class. And that physical release just sort of gets that sobbing going. Have you ever had like a yoga class where you've just lied on the mat afterwards and just let those tears run down your face? Oh, there is no better feeling than a good sob on a yoga mat. Look in your local areas and find a sound bath session or something where you can just lie down, close your eyes and let those emotions just wash over you. Once you do that, you allow yourself to feel the feelings, you're going to be able to communicate to your partner or your friends way better. Next up is communicating with your partner. You know, when you have an abortion, men can never really truly understand the weight of it because it's not their body, it's not their womb, it's not their hormones that are affected. And often it's not them that get the judgment, it's us. This conversation might seem very intimidating, but you need to sit him down and tell him exactly what you need before the conversation happens. Listen, I just need you to support me. Okay, we don't need to get in a debate about whether it was the right decision or the wrong decision. We're here now, and I just need you to validate my feelings and tell me that I'm not alone in this experience. I need the option to talk about it if I want to. Choose the right time. Don't be, you know, having this conversation just before you go to bed where you're both tired and a bit snappy, or you've had a rough day with the kids and you're just nipping at each other, because he needs to be in the right frame of mind to support you. You know, you never know as well. He might be struggling with it and just suppressing it and not talking about it because that, you know, because he's a man. So actually you opening up and giving him the space to feel the emotions might be really helpful for him as well. And maybe if he's really not receptive to the conversation, and don't expect too much, but if he's not receptive, then I would really suggest getting a counsellor to help have this conversation with you, especially if you're quite nervous to have the conversation. Get a counsellor there, have a professional there so they can sort of aid you in communicating how you feel. Next up is talking to our friends. Now, I was really quite nervous to talk to my friends. At school, I didn't tell any of my friends what I'd gone through. It was only when I got into adulthood that I actually realized that most of my friends have had abortions. Any hurt that I felt because of the abortion, I struggled talking about it because I felt like I didn't deserve to. I got myself in this position. Surely I didn't deserve to feel sad. I tell my friends, like when the smallest thing happens, if I have a headache, I tell my friends. For some reason, I felt this weirdness going to them and telling them that I'd had quite a serious procedure that is going to affect my hormones, it's going to affect my mental health, and it's going to affect my physical health. Why did I feel weird going to them and telling them that? I know you might feel like you're alone in your experience and they won't understand, but every woman I know has had some sort of trauma to their womb, and it's something that connects us all, whether it's sexual trauma, birth trauma, abortion trauma. We can all kind of connect with each other through womb trauma. And I think you'll be surprised that even if your friends haven't experienced abortions, they're still able to love and care for you in the right way. One thing I want you to remember and drill into your mind is you are allowed to prioritize yourself and your family. You are allowed to put yourself first. You are a living, breathing, feeling being, and you are having an experience too. And that experience is important. That experience called your life matters, and you are allowed to choose yourself. I need help from my mum friends. I love my partner, but since our baby has arrived, it feels like I'm doing everything while he's just coasting along. He plays video games all night, sleeps in until it's time for work, and leaves me to handle the baby, housework, and everything else. When I try to talk to him about it, trust me, I've tried many times, he gets defensive and promises to help, but never follows through. How can I get him to understand that I need more support without causing a huge argument? Side note, he's from a family that has this exact dynamic. Mum doing everything, dad doing nothing. Before we had a baby, he wasn't exactly the perfect partner, but I didn't realize how much more support I'd need after I gave birth. I just assumed he would pick up the slack after we had a baby and contribute more around the house, but I was wrong. I'm not a stay-at-home mum either. I still work 4 days a week on top of everything else, and I am wearing thin. What do I do? From a very tired, overstimulated, pissed off mum friend. Go. Tell him to go. I'm not even joking. Tell that dude he gets to go. PCD style, okay? This man ain't changing. You've tried. You've tried many, many times. He's shown you who he is time after time after time. There's no point in me sitting down here and saying, oh, have you tried this? Why don't you say it in this way? Have you tried this little trick? What about this? What about the spreadsheet? No, because you've done it. And still, we're in the same position. The last straw, I would honestly say, and you've got to that point now, is tell him to pack his fucking bags because you need to breathe. It doesn't have to be a breakup. It just needs to be time for you to breathe. I need a few weeks without you in my fucking hair because I'm starting to hate you right now. And I've said it time and time again, you've not changed, so I need you to go. And after a couple weeks, what you're going to do is get into therapy together. Get on BetterHelp. It's not that expensive. You can get sessions for £45. Get some therapy sessions so you guys can work through this together. You know, we need to unravel why this man is such a piece of shit. Why is he disrespecting the mother of his child like that? Get this man to the therapist's office right now. So Duncan, what deep parent wounds do you have that has made you into the wettest husband in the world? On what planet is this man from where he thinks he can watch you birth his child and then continue acting like a 13-year-old boy, living his teenager dream? No, honey, you're not up playing video games all night and then sleeping in until 12 p.m, okay? We're running a business here. The business is called The Family, and the business has working hours. You know, you're a husband and a dad, and husbands and dads do not sleep all day and party all night. Well, some of them do. And they're the shit ones. Okay. Are you a shit husband and dad? Are you literally just telling me that you are a shit husband and dad? Fair enough. If he ticked a couple of the boxes, like sure, you know, if he stays up late and he plays video games, but when he gets home from work, he's putting dinner on the table and he's putting that baby in the bath, like fair enough, but he's not even doing that. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to be the dream husband, but you have to do something. You have to do at least not nothing. That is the rule. The bare minimum, at least not nothing. And he can't even turn around and be like, I'm the owner, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I went Scouse then for no reason. There's no hate on Scouse people. That just came out then. I'm the earner, blah, 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 because he's not the earner. You're both earning, and you're also working a full-time job, being the cleaner and the mother to his children. Is he the man of your dreams? Genuine question. Are you sure, hun? Because he don't sound like it. And trust me, there is a man out there that will take care of you, honey. You know, there's a man out there that will come home from work and cook you dinner and he'll clean the living room, okay? There's a man out there that will wake up before you and make you a coffee in bed in the morning, but you can't fucking find him because you're too busy. You're too busy looking after this fucking teenager. I'm not saying jump ship right now because, you know, I'm sure when you're on that ship and you're looking over the water, it's looking a little bit crazy out there, okay? Single mum life ain't easy. It's not for everyone. You know, the water might be looking a little bit crazy, but I bet you if you just get your goggles on and you just Poke your head under the water. Under the sea, where it is wetter, husbands get better, take it from me. You deserve more. You're a princess. This mum says, I'm in desperate need of some advice, and you're the only one I can think of who might make me laugh about this mess while also helping me figure it out. Thanks, babe. Here's the juice. I'm 25, just moved in with my boyfriend. We'll call him Mike, who's 33. Mike has a 6-year-old daughter. We'll call her Lily, who stays with us part-time. I love Lily and things are going great until his ex started sticking her nose into everything, including my cupboards. She's very involved in Lily's life, which I totally get and respect. She is her mother, but she's also decided to be very involved in mine and Mike's relationship. She pops up unannounced just to see Lily, but then spends more time grilling me about my life than actually playing with her kid. She even rearranged our kitchen once, saying it wasn't practical the way that I had it set up. And the worst part, my partner doesn't even seem to notice or care. He says that she's just being protective of Lily and that I should just get along with her. I don't want to cause drama, but I also don't want to feel like an intruder in my own home. How do I deal with this overly involved ex without turning our lives into an episode of Hollyoaks? And how do I get Mike to understand that this is a problem? Help me! This is tricky because I'm kind of going to assume that you are the first serious girlfriend that he's had since breaking up with his baby mum. Massive assumption there, but just in the way that she's not really used to this. She hasn't had any boundaries set yet. Now, it's hard for me to not see this from the mum's point of view. So I'm going to piss you off a little bit here, babe, okay? It's really hard for me to not do that, but I'm not going to do that for a moment. I'll do that in a bit, but for now, you know, I understand that you want me to sit here and be like, fucking hell, what a bitch. Oh my God, get out my life. I am going to try and support you because you are my mate, not her. So first, let's focus on you. You know, you've just moved in with your boyfriend. You've obviously got your head screwed on. You're only 25, but you sound mature because you've taken on this role of part-time carer for this girl. That's a big responsibility. You know, you're in this might be your first home that you've lived in with a boy. And so you're in like this really important life stage that's really exciting, and it must be really fucking annoying to have this woman come in. She's probably a little bit older than you, maybe she's late 20s, early 30s. She's coming in and she's just being a little intruder in your home and meddling and moving stuff around and getting involved, putting you in place almost in your own home. That's fucking rude. But let me just imagine I'm the mum for a sec. How would I feel if I've got Woody, right? And then me and Zach's relationship breaks down for whatever reason and he moves out. And a few years later, he's got a girlfriend and his girlfriend moves in. And Woody's there half the week. How would I feel this woman kind of being the stepmom to my child when I don't really know anything about her yet? I mean, to be honest, I'd probably be going through her kitchen cupboards as well. Just being real, I'd be going through her laundry cupboard, seeing what kind of clothes she wears around my kid. Like I'd be going through her Spotify playlist. What kind of music you playing? What kind of music you playing when my child's there? On her Netflix account, recently watched. That one's too many swear words. That one's too violent. That one's misogynistic. You're not watching that when he's there. Like I actually probably would be like that. You know, child locking the alcohol cupboards, putting those round corner things that you put on sharp corners. I'll be going around her house putting those little corner buffers on so he doesn't knock his head. Does that make it right? No. It's naughty, it's annoying, it's unhinged. But then again, us mums are all those things when it comes to our child. You know, maybe, like I said, you are his first serious girlfriend that he's had since breaking up with her. And so she's not used to like this dynamic of having to sort of step back and allow you guys as a unit to do your thing. So she does need some boundaries. You are not the person to have to set those boundaries. It has to be your partner, Mike. But if you are serious about this boy, then I think you have it in your interests to build a good relationship with this woman to make your life easy. And Mike is not going to do that. He's not going to be a facilitator in that because men just don't think that way. So you as the female, and sorry, but you are the younger, maybe hotter hot or girl that isn't weighed down by motherhood. Like I said earlier, like you're this young, wild and free girl that has come into this situation. I know it feels like she might have the upper hand to you because they were maybe together for a long time and they have this child together and whatever. But to her, you're making her feel a little bit insecure. So it has to be you who is extending the olive branch and bringing her into the situation, making her feel like a part of your unit, which might seem irritating, but I do think if you see a future with this guy, and obviously you do because you've moved in with him, then I think you should make a point of doing that. Building that good relationship with her. Invite her round. Next time she's dropping Lily off for the weekend or picking her up, invite her in for a ham sandwich. Let her see that you are not interested in being the mother to Lily. And also let the mum know that you want to learn from her, because that is what she's thinking. She's thinking this 25-year-old girl does not know how to parent, does not know how to set up a child-friendly home. And so in the wrong way, she's doing it. It's not a distrust of you. I would actually say it's more a distrust of your partner. She doesn't expect your partner to do it. So she's doing that classic female thing of just doing it herself, but she's doing it herself in someone else's home. And you, as someone that isn't a mum, maybe isn't actually aware of everything that needs to be done or changed around the house to make it a more child-friendly environment. Say to her, yeah, come in. I am like willing to learn from you, even if it pisses you off. It's like I always say, okay, if someone doesn't like you for whatever reason or is winding you up, you gaslight them to the end of the earth and kill them with kindness so they cannot possibly say a bad word about you. This is the issue, okay, guys, with dating people with kids. You've got to be prepared for this dynamic. I would be careful because she is giving me vibes of, you know, those parents that send their kids in with like, they're mic'd up and then they can listen to what the kid is saying or what the kid's doing or what people around them are doing. Or, you know, those people that set up like little spy cameras in the corner of the house. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. So don't be caught out saying anything negative about her because she might be listening on the microphone. Having said that, we could turn this into a nice family vibe. It's just you, your partner, his ex, and their child hanging out, all as one loving, happy family unit. I just hope that she's not secretly in love with him still, you know, because that could be a setup for a murder film or a rom-com where, you know, they get back together. But that's not very calm for you, is it? Right, mum friends, that is all our dilemmas. We're going to go straight into Freak of the Week. That was out of tune. Freak of the Week. This is from our mum friend, Melissa. Hey, Miranda, loving the pod. I would like to nominate my toddler for Freak of the Week. So there I was attempting to have a somewhat peaceful morning, sipping my coffee, when my 2-year-old decided it was time to unleash the chaos. Today's disaster involved a nappy that clearly couldn't contain the, let's call it, creative output of my little one. I was busy in the kitchen when I heard an unmistakable sound of giggles coming from the living room. Now, giggles are usually a good thing, but not when accompanied by a certain aroma. I walked in to find my toddler, who had somehow managed to wriggle out of his nappy, gleefully finger painting the carpet with what can only be described as a poo Picasso. Panic set in as I rushed to contain the mess. So there I was, chasing my naked, poo-covered child around the living room while trying to avoid stepping in any artistic splatters. By the time I got him cleaned up, I looked like I'd been through a war zone. Hair disheveled, clothes smeared, and sanity hanging on by a thread. Lesson learned: when your toddler gets too quiet, always investigate immediately. Love from Melissa in Edinburgh. Melissa, thank you so much. Congratulations to your toddler for winning Freak of the Week. I appreciate everyone for sending in your dilemmas. You gave us something to talk about today, and it's, again, so nice to connect to mums all across the country. And a huge thank you to all the mums that sent in their nominations for Freak of the Week. We will be back same time next week. I love you very much. Mwah!